All right, so we're sitting here with Big Hectik V Hill from Smooth Productions. What's up, big bro? How you doing, man?
How you doing?
You doing good?
Good, good.
I'm glad you came down to South with me, man.
I appreciate you.
We are sitting, where are we at right now?
Clifton, Colorado, right on 32 and 8th, you know, 32 and 8 ball. Junktown, you know, Grand Junction, Colorado, USA, you know.
So if you know anything about Smooth Production music, they represent this area to the fullest, yes?
The 970, yeah. I was born in Montrose, Colorado, which is still the 970, not too far away.
Right.
We moved here when I was about 11, and I've probably been here 28 years, 29 years.
Wow.
Going on 30 years, yeah.
So, and you're Aaron's brother, right?
Aaron's my little brother, yeah.
Smokey.
I'm the older brother, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Smokey.
And was he born in Montrose too, or was he born here?
He was born in Arkansas.
Oh wow!
And
Okay.
that's you know, where a little bit of our other roots lie. You know, I got that southern appeal because our daddy is from Kingsland, Arkansas, which is as you know, the home of Johnny Cash.
Word. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
the home of Johnny Cash. So you know, you got that appeal. And my daddy was a country singer. He had a band called Southbound Express, and my uncle had a band called Diamondback.
Mm-hmm.
And they played rock music, but rockabilly, kind of like the hillbilly twist, country type of stuff, you know. And then I guess kind of like that's where maybe the bloodline comes from, you know. If you could think of it like that, it's almost so much as like a bloodline, where it is like a frequency. Music is what that is, you know what I mean? Just the feeling of music comes from somewhere like that, you know.
Yeah.
So my roots basically come from there and there. Like, I remember being younger and listening to my dad's music, but knowing that he had the timing. The timing thing was there. The timing, you know what I mean? People can have this, they can have that, but do they have the timing?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I think I got from him. And even growing up, listening to the music, listening to playing guitar, real instruments and stuff, where, you know, as opposed to they're on a computer and we're listening to beats that are, you know what I mean? And like, that's where, like, I want to do it with the whole band. Like, when I went down and lived with my dad for a while, a few years ago, and I got to the point where he was playing real instruments behind it, then I kind of understood where it came from, or where all that came from, and why I was so interested in it. Because, you know, music is like, you feel a heartbeat in the womb, and music is a universal language. Why?
Right.
Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it really is. And I guess that's where I really had the real love for music, when I finally realized.
Was he performing whenever you were a young?
Yeah.
So you were seeing that?
Yeah. As a kid, I remember seeing, when I went to visit him, he'd be doing shows. They'd be like doing like a local, just like we would do, and your guys' crew would do, you know, the 800 Villains, and they'd be going to a show, and we'd be young kids. Like, your kids were there, my nephews and nieces were there. I remember being there little, and like, man, that's my dad, that's my uncle, you know what I mean? And then my little brother didn't know him as much as I did. I was back and forth between Colorado and Arkansas.
Did you guys have both had the same?
We had the
pops?
same dad, same mom, and but he didn't know. My mom left my dad when I was 3.5, and my brother was like 6 months old.
Okay.
So and then off and on, when, you know, whenever he would be in touch, I'd go visit him. So about, you know, 4 or 5 times over the years, and then I went and lived with him. But it was still, the music was deep there. It was like, it was just something else. And it's like that outlaw country, like the Waylon Jennings type of Johnny Cash. The outlaw country really comes from there, Nashville, Tennessee. I went to Graceland as a kid, and I remember, and my grandpa picked me up in a black Cadillac, Dallas Airport, and I flew from Denver to Dallas, and I was like 7. And then he drove to Graceland and parked outside the gates, and he was like, you know, that's where music comes from. Elvis Presley, Graceland. And it didn't ever really dawn on me until like I got older, and I realized, like, you know, that's really where music comes from. Nashville, Tennessee, and, you know, like the country music part of that. But music is music. You know what I mean? Music is music. It doesn't matter what you listen to. My playlist goes from Axl Rose to Jelly Roll to Mayday, back to Imagine Dragons. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I anything that has a good meaning, that is teaching you something. You know what I mean? Like seeking some knowledge. You know what I mean? Like I guess I don't get some of the music today if you're just talking about drugs and partying all the time. You know what I mean? I guess that's where even some of my own music had to take a turn, because I had a lot of my music that I wrote over the years makes no sense now, because I want to inspire.
Right.
I want to aspire to inspire, is what I said earlier. Like, why would you not want to? Because that's a legacy you're leaving behind. A CD, an album, anything. If you did nothing else, you'll be remembered from that song. Like, and I don't.
That's forever.
That's forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to be remembered from something where I was talking about drugs and how many girls I've been with. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's where I'm just not into that anymore. Not saying that it's not okay to go make a buck off that, but I don't want to be remembered by something like that. You know, whenever we were first recording, we were off Elm Avenue, right in Junction, and we were recording on like an HP desktop with the $70 Radio Shack microphone. You know what I mean? And before that, we were recording on the little microphone that was on the screen.
Right.
Here, push record. You know what I mean? Baby's crying in the background. There's even a song, and my daughter's crying in the background. And my little brother recorded it, and it was called Lost. But you couldn't deny the rhymes.
Right.
Like, you couldn't deny the rhymes.
Yeah.
Like, rhyming is a skill set. Like, bars are a skill set.
Yeah.
Rhyme schemes are a skill set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't like to brag or say anything else like that, but I do it like no other.
Yeah.
Other people do it like no other. People, there's some people that don't do it like that. Even in the industry today, where they're like, I'm like, they're doing 2-for-1s, and they're doing like that, like where I come up with a rhyme scheme that's a 1-3-2-4. 1 rhymes with 3, 2 rhymes with 4. You know what I mean? And I've been writing poems since I first started getting in trouble. I first started getting in trouble at 14, and it was my outlet, was like writing a poem, and I wrote in 8 bars, not knowing that was music. Picking it up later, like, this poem, that's a hook.
Yeah.
A 4-bar repeating hook is an 8-bar chorus. 4, 8, 16, 32.
And you knew
boom.
that at a young
age, but didn't dawn on me until we started writing music, recording music, and I was like, wow, the formula's already there.
Yeah.
And for it to be ingrained in there, it's normal, because it's magical almost, because it's there.
Is it from your pops, you think?
I honestly do.
Like you're really into the timing.
Timing is everything.
It's obvious, yeah.
Timing is everything. Time is everything. Time is everything. The back to forth, to be able to write a beat, to boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what that metronome is.
Yeah.
And people, like the maestro in a thing, when he's doing that, he's keeping, okay, and you, and you keep the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's timeless.
Yeah.
Because music is timeless.
Yeah.
But that's where I noticed that, able to be like that, like, wow, I'm not just writing this, you're almost painting a picture. You're painting, then if you, in the picture you want to paint, you want it to be remembered forever. You know what I mean? And that's where I think I broke that down, or I might have got it from my pops, but I got it. You know what I mean? And I'm happy for it. Whatever it is, thank you, universe. Thank everybody for it, because I live it and I love it, and it brings me by my day. I don't go by every day without trying to write something new. Either I write like a few bars, 2 to 4 bars a day, work on something that I'm working on, and make sure I do it. And I used to think that, you know, when I went through my addiction phase, that I was on top of the world, because this drug made me feel, oh great, I can write music, I can do this and I can do that, but it really wasn't the case, because that's already in you. That's already in you. And if they bring out a piece of that, then that just means that they're hitting on something that you already have.
Yeah.
You already have that in you. You don't need something to bring it out. You know what I mean? I feel so much better now, knowing that, like, I already have that, and it's already there. Like, it's my life. Like, I couldn't live without music. It makes you feel like you're on the top of the world when you're really in hell. It makes you feel like you're in heaven when you're really not. You know what I mean? It's the total different way. Or on drugs, doing music.
The drugs,
yeah.
Drugs,
music makes me feel everything.
Right.
But the drugs, the fake enlightenment, I call it.
It wasn't a good mix.
It wasn't a good mix. And think about it, because it's good for the moment, but in the long run, you're mistaking everything around you. You're like, it's cool, fast life, we're doing shows, but we're doing shows and we're having 3-4 drinks before a show. We're getting up there slurring words. People are on stage and having to cover each other's stuff because you can't even remember your verse. And I've been there before.
Yeah.
I've been there before. I'm just as guilty as anybody else, where people are on stage and I'm like, man, I got to finish his hook because he can't even remember it. But it's my fault too. I've had to, hey, you're going to have to bail me out of this. I can't even remember my verse or something like that because, because like you live in the moment when you're doing that, when you're doing drugs and you think it's like, you're on top of the world and you're really not, you know what I mean? And that's all I really have to say about it.
It's like a false
fake
reality.
It's a fake enlightenment.
Fake enlightenment.
That's exactly what I call it.
That's heavy, man.
That's exactly what I call it. And
so you growing up, getting into music, what got you in the music in the early days as far as rap music? Like, we know that your pops was doing his thing in Arkansas and from Arkansas.
Well, I guess I started, I remember being little and listening to, MC Hammer, Young MC, and I had tapes of MC Hammer, Young MC, NWA, had, if you didn't, Eazy-E, you know what I mean, had all those, Vanilla Ice, you know what I mean? I remember doing talent shows. I was in first grade doing Young MC Bust a Move. Like, was my first talent show. Second grade, Vanilla Ice. Third grade, Snap, Oops Upside Your Head. Like, those ones, those, I really did those, I think if it was not Oops Upside Your Head, it was another one. It was that, and then CNC Music Factory. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, remember all those little music groups and doing the dances and everything and being able to do like choreography and being able to make the moves and doing that and realizing that not only could your lip sync and stuff like that too, but I could come up with my own stuff. Like, I wrote my first rhymes and stuff at 11 years old. 11 years old, and I was like, trying to rap and stuff. But then later on, it was in the form of poetry, where it was like meaningful, where this stuff means something. Like, try to tell your story or tell a little bit about you, or the most you can in a 16-bar verse.
Right.
If you can do that, then you're doing music.
Nice. What about Aaron? Where was Aaron? Was he as passionate about this as you were?
He is as passionate. It's
was that coming up because you're his big brother, right?
Yeah, I'm the older brother.
So you'd be like,
we were doing music and we were listening to music, and he was never doing the talent shows and stuff like I was. But I guess when it came time to I was really writing music and I was writing poems and at 14, 15, you're talking 94, 95, we were realizing that, you know what I mean, that we could really do music. People were freestyling and they were freestyling and there's few freestylers out there that could really freestyle.
Right.
Most of the time, I really believe that people are writing writtens and they're remembering it. Okay. And they're really good at remembering their writtens. You know what I mean? Even some of the greatest. Yeah. No say no names, nothing, but even some of the greatest, they're repeating themselves and they're changing shit up. So they're doing columns. Boom, boom, boom. And it's hard to do right through them. If you're that good at freestyling, then you're a badass. But to stay on a subject, to freestyle with meaning is few and far between.
Right.
So I noticed that being as I was writing, you could stay on a subject matter and I could really do that. And I noticed that, hey, I like doing this and we don't sound bad. And then I realized eventually later on that I could kind of sing. So to be able to sing and rap and put it all together into a song is everything. You know what I mean?
When did you first start recording? How old were you when you first started recording?
The very first recording I ever did, I was probably, it was 2009. I was 29. I was,
when you first started recording?
That's the first recording. It wasn't a,
So you had been making songs.
But I've been making songs. I had already 30 to 40 songs in notebooks.
Who hooked you up with your first recording opportunity?
My little brother.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was messing with some guys and they had like they were talking about recording it on a computer, and I had just recently been released, and I was in community corrections. I was taking passes, and he was like, "Do you have something to record?" And I was like, "Oh, I got songs ready to go, but I have to like find a beat." So then you listen to a beat and see if it fits to this. You know what I mean?
And these were hip hop guys.
And they were like some hip hop guys locally. Pretty Boy was he was doing his stuff, and he is friends of our family. Like my little niece and his niece too. Mm-hmm. Like Smokey has a baby with his sister, so we've known each other for a long time. You know what I mean? But I remember when Pretty Boy was just a little kid, I would be at his house and I'd be spitting to him and his mom. Mm-hmm. Like his mom, everybody. I'd be singing songs with no beat, no recording equipment, no nothing. Nice. You know what I mean? And then like years would go before that. It was 2001. Like, and we had like this Mixman studio on the computer. And you could put different sounds and you put it on a track, and you would kind of like be making your own beat. Yeah. But nobody could record it. You recorded on the little thing, but it wasn't no good recording equipment. Like we were making songs, we were kind of like getting ready, thinking we could do it, but like, it never like dawned on us until technology got better, and you realized we could spend a little bit of money for some better recording equipment. Yeah. So that's one of the first opportunities we had and we realized that we could take the beat to the words to a beat and make a song. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy.
When you guys started getting serious, what was it that got you to be like, yo, we can start doing shows, we can start getting big?
When we recorded like this song called Welcome to the Valley, and it was on like a $70 Radio Shack mic with no preamp on an HP computer that was like a 2007 computer with like Windows whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so it was, and it actually sounded good. Like, we're like, wow, that's us on a track. And
who was on the track?
Me and my little brother.
Okay.
And then we did another one called Lost, and it was me and my brother. And then we did Love Hurts, our first 3 tracks. Welcome to the Valley, Love Hurts, and Lost. Welcome to the Valley, Love Hurts, and Lost. There was 3 songs on it. And it was like our debut album, and it was just recording it on a computer and then put it in with the black magic marker. You know what I mean? And we were handing out to people.
Okay, we're gonna go back to your first song that you guys recorded.
The first song was Welcome to the Valley. And that was the first song. Me and Smokey recorded it. Smokey Loke at the time. Smokey Dro now. We recorded that, and it was, like I said, on a Radio Shack microphone, HP computer, Windows, and I don't even know what it was. It was Windows something. So Windows XP or something,
Who had the computer and had the...
It was like a computer that my mom had, like, and I ended up like saying, "Hey, can I have it?" And people were still on, and I didn't even have a Facebook back then. It was MySpace. Yeah. People had a MySpace. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like you couldn't really stream it or nothing, but we were talking about how we had a CD, and it was 2009. 2009. And because my daughter was just born, and she was born October the 6th, 2009. And she was in the background crying in one of the songs, so it was right around then. So we recorded it there, and we had like 3 songs on like 50 CDs that we made, that we burned. We were handing them out to people in the valley, like, really, we're doing this. And then years before, like when I was rapping and I was writing music, I said, if we ever had a label, we would call it Smooth Productions. We would call it Smooth Productions. It was just a name that somebody came up with, and we were all sitting around rapping and stuff. It was like, because we were smoother than the rest. Like, we were smooth, and a production label, so it was Smooth Productions. And then my little brother got a hat, and he was like, "I'll make you one." And I was like, "All right, man, make me one." You know what I mean? And they were like $30 at Lids, but it wasn't, we didn't have the logo or anything like that. Like, we didn't have the logo
with
pin
the
up
microphone.
With the microphone. I drew the microphone. The original.
Did you do that art?
I drew all the art. Yeah,
nice.
I draw all the art too. Still do. I do graffiti and stuff, like the graffiti art. The more the stuff that you could read, like I have my own font and everything. So I was designing shirts, and then another guy, Alex, I can't remember what his the graphics company was, but he took my microphone, the street sign that I did, and like put everything together and good. And then I did the Smooth Productions lettering inside the label. You know what I mean? If you've seen the logo and
Yeah,
it's right here on my neck too.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen so you can check it out.
Awesome.
Make sure you send me those PNGs.
Yeah. So that came together like that, and then we started doing the shirts. So we did our first show, I would say. We did our first show in town was Do or Die. And you guys were there too, right? Like, yeah. So that's where we met. Rivers. Yeah, Two Rivers. Yeah. And it was like in-house productions, was Dizzy, right? And I remember meeting Chico there. I remember standing in the line outside and meeting everybody. And like we had, probably, it wasn't like to say the worst or could be the best, the first or the, you know what I mean? Right. It doesn't mean, but we had the opening slot, which was, people weren't all the way there. It was probably like a 6:30, 7 o'clock slot, but we jammed, packed 7 songs into a 15-minute slot. Yeah. Doing excerpts of this, excerpts of that, and we put them all together.
Shout out to Dizzy, right?
Yeah, shout out to Dizzy, in-house productions. I didn't know if he's still around or not. And I remember meeting Chico there outside the place. That Baby G had just came with us, and he was part of another group, Homegrown Entertainment. You know what I mean? Shout out to Solo. He recorded all our original stuff.
Solo did.
Solo did.
He's a
vet, man. He's a master engineer. He's one of the best recording. He's done a lot of our early stuff, and you know what I mean. Like, Who Said was like one of the real original tracks. The first time we like went to a real studio, paid for studio time, like, and he had the beat, and I was like, that'll fit. Who Said, and it was a song I had wrote 8 years before.
Wow.
But it fit perfectly. And I even had an outro and an intro because I had wrote on it like something that didn't fit in the hook or something. I'm like, wow, that's the outro. Wow, that's the exit. That's the outro. That's the intro. You know what I mean? And it kind of just all fit together like, like puzzle pieces. And it was like something that kind of like came naturally, you know what I mean? And then, but like being on stage is a whole different story. Like in the studio, you could do it all you want, and then being on stage is a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? Like in being able to, like trust and believe that people say like the Eminem song where people are saying like, hey, his mics always sound best. Like that's really a thing because people, and it's not so much that people are hating the industry. It's because different equipment. Right. You know what I mean? Because you had it in your everybody's voice is different. You had it in your truck. And it got jammed around, so you went and hooked it up at the place, and that you plugged it in, and feedback coming out, everything's all crazy. So it's not always like that, but you assume the animosity comes like, you're hating on us. You know what I mean? And maybe it was some of them like that. I get that. Like they're really messing with our mics. You know what I mean? But it's probably because they didn't all know what they were doing. Right. A lot of us didn't. Right. People jumped into this just wanting to hear music at a live venue. Whether it was a backyard, a barbecue, a place at the mall, or a place in Aspen, Colorado. The fact of doing live music on stage in front of people, whether your family's watching or your homeboys, or 100 people or 1,000 people. Right. It's a feeling. It's something major. It's something great, Right.
So you had... your first show was Two Rivers at the Two Rivers Tavern with the Do or Die.
And that was 2011.
That's 2011. You met Chico. Yeah. Baby G was still with Homegrown. How did you guys all get together?
He had just came over there with us.
How did that go down?
So that went down, like we recorded Who Said, and we met Baby G at the studio, and we were doing some little shows at like the bowling alley in like the mall at Hot Topics. Yeah, at Hot Topics that same year. And like we met Baby G there, and he started like hanging out with us in Clifton, and he kind of liked our get down. You know what I mean? It wasn't no animosity towards Solo or anything like that. You know what I mean? I mean, at one time, people were like, there was like beef there or something, but after a while, it was like we all jumped on tracks together, and we called it cool. But I know that there was a little bit of, animosity.
He was Solo's artist.
He was Solo's artist.
And Baby G was pretty dope.
Dope.
Yeah, dude.
Dope.
I remember that.
Bro, dope.
I was like,
dope, bro. But, like I said, but if you're not going to get, no offense or nothing, but if you're not going to get on a track with a bunch of dope artists too, then you're wasting your talent. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Maybe they migrate towards each other and like that. I'm not saying anything, but people that more fitting artists. You know what I mean? You're going to collab with people. And if I'm going to collab with you, and I should be able to tell you that you might need to rewrite a verse. Sorry, bro, but that ain't going to cut it. You heard mine. You heard Smokey's. You heard Baby G's. you're gonna need to redo that one. Sorry, bro. You know what I mean? Like, right?
That's good leadership.
And it's not being like that. But I even tell my own homies, guess what? This is your hook. Circle it in the middle of the paper. And they're like, no. I'm like, that's your hook. I'm a hook man. I know it's a hook. And they would be pissed. And I'd be like, bro, trust and believe that's your hook. And even we'd all sit around and kind of go like, that's the hook, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hook. And I've been writing music for 27 years. Like, without a beat, without recording it, without being able to do that in the walls of a cell. And it was my only outlet. Like, this is really going to be a song. Look at this new song I'm working with. I'd be on the phone, call my mom, like, I got this new song. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, and wow, that's beautiful. But I have songs today that I wrote 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that still don't have the beat. That I've never found a beat for. That somebody maybe need to, like, where you get real instruments behind them. Really play the piano. We're not like some rich entertainers where we can go in the studio and they build a beat around us.
Right.
Who can do that anymore?
Right.
You guys had a badass beat man. I got some beats from him. Immaculate was a badass beat man. For sure. Could he build a beat around me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But like anybody that could really do that, like to go in and build something around somebody is a whole.
Takes a lot of talent.
It's a whole different ballgame.
That is crazy talented. You know?
Yes.
Like, I've been making beats longer than him, and he went and made beats for like a month, and it was just killing me. I was like, dude,
that's what I mean.
You're the fucking
You're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like somebody's like, hey, I get that, and that's a hard, sometimes hard lesson to learn where people are like, hey, you need to be first on that track, or you need to be last, or your song goes first, or whatever. And to read into that, like I pushed all my own artists. Like I was all my artists' biggest fan. Like Chico was the baddest. And I still, to this day, hands down, the best Mexican-American artist on the fucking map. Like, sick. Yeah. Little Rob, King Lil G, none of them got shit on Chico. Yeah. No, none of them. Judas, sick as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, 16 bars, killing it. You know what I mean? Like, badass. You know what I mean? But none of them can do a hook like I can. None of them can fucking rap as fast as Baby G. None of them can tell a story with a badass, perfect monotone in a badass way and telling the story like he's talking to you like Smokey. None of them can do the white boy dope rap like Kidnap. You know what I mean? Like some of the rappers that came from Smooth Productions and were brought up in this town and migrated towards us, like that's how passionate I am about how them, even Echo, Emerson, like that motherfucker kills a beat, bro. Beast mode. Like, kill a beat, bro. Tell a story. Do 16 bars. Rapping fast. And still being able to be clear. Understandable. You know what I mean? Where they're not mumbling. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do that mumble rap around here. You need to be able to be clear. And we would tell you and be able to pop your rhymes. You know what I mean? Like, where and it would be hard for you to go into a studio and be telling them, hey, you need to enunciate that better. You need to do better dubs. Or sometimes we didn't even do dubs. You were so comfortable with it, you got in the studio and you just dubbed your own self again. You didn't even have to do dubs because you were so good. The studio was right there in the closet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I have to prepare like for getting ready studio because it's like it's your art, it's your song, and like you could work on the same thing for years and years and years, and then later on it would make sense that this is supposed to go there. You know what I mean? Like that's like where I've stood still on some of the music, but I found out later that, you know, I need to redo that song because I missed some stuff out of there. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, you know, like some of the greatest songs in the world, I think that some of those people worked on those for 10 years, 10 or 20 years before they were exactly right. You know, if they're like art, like I see some of these artists, these big artists, like he said, I did 5 songs in a studio today. I'm like, how could he do that? Like, it's not quantity, it's quality, right? One song made it, you know what I mean? Like, one song. Like, you know, like I listened to Creedence Clearwater, Fleetwood Mac, listened to, you know, some of the greatest, and I'm like, man, that song just does it for me. If I don't hear it every day, like, I'm not okay. Like, I have to listen. Have you ever seen the rain? Every day on my playlist. I have to. Like, no matter what. If that song is 2 minutes and 35 seconds long, and it's one of the greatest things ever compiled in the history of music.
Yeah.
Is it not? You think about it. You know what I mean? Like, wow, he told you everything you needed to know in a 2 minutes and 35-second song. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I want to give to the industry. Like, something like that. Like, if you could do something like Hotel California, if you could do Fleetwood Mac Dreams, if you could do Tom Petty, you don't know what it's like. Something like that. You know, not even like my Drake, The Motto. You know what I mean? Drake, The Motto. Dr. Dre, The Chronic. Nothing but a G thing. You know what I mean? Eminem, Rock Bottom. You know what I mean? Like, I listened to that today, and I was like, wow, compared to, like, his journey. You know what I mean? And he's been clean and sober for 11 years. You know what I mean? And that, you know, some people can do drugs, some people can handle it, some people can't. Don't get me wrong, but being able to, like, watch his thing and how that one song created was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and then Dre signed Yellow Wolf. Dre signed Eminem. Eminem signed Yellow Wolf. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole thing coming up, and that was just kind of amazing. And our little version of it was like, we did Smooth Productions. We got with Baby G because he liked us. We kind of stole Chico. You know what I mean? Like, and people could get mad of it, but it was like, it's like they were migrating to make good music.
Right.
It wasn't like, hey, fuck you, fuck my label, or excuse my language, but it was, we're going to make good music.
Right.
And maybe this guy's recording, maybe the vibe is better.
So who was all on the team at your height? And when was your height? Where you would say?
I would say
Smooth Productions.
You know, before 2014, 2012, 2013 was our big time. Before 2014 was when the Indictment hit. You know what I mean?
Okay. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay.
And it was me.
Wait, hold on.
No,
water.
okay.
All right.
Me, Smokey Dro, Aaron Villa, Brandon Johnson, Baby G, Chico Martinez is Alex Martinez, Echo Emerson, Robert Echo Emerson. It was us 5, and then Kidnap came, so there were 6 of us. Right. You know what I mean? And then his little brother Macamphetamine, which was Adam. Well, not Adam Finley. Adam Finley's his older brother. It was Andrew Finley. Andrew Finley was Macamphetamine. So there was like 7 of us really on the label. You know what I mean?
Before 2014?
2014. It was 2013.
That was the
2013. That's when was our highest set. We after the Do or Die show, we did Busy Bone, and it was at the Travel Lodge, that little venue right there. They did Busy Bone. Then we went from Busy Bone right into bringing Haystack. We brought Haystack in 2013, November 11th, 2013, and we sold out Whiskey River, 550 people venue. Or 470 person venue, there's 550 people there. They were like, you can't have this many people there. You know what I mean? And we did. So we went from Haystack.
Were you doing all your own promotions?
We were doing our own promotions. Before Haystack, we did Rasheed. And that's crazy because Dope House Records has really been a big deal to me. Like, Dope House Records. We were in Aspen doing a show.
I was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
My uncle's was working for a guy in Aspen, and he was playing our CD, and we had already came up with a couple CDs, and by then we had better equipment. We only had about 6 songs on our track, and we K-Dog 2 was coming with us when he was around. He would, but he had never really fully committed to saying I'm Smooth Productions. Just like even in the beginning, Kidnap.
Because he was Solo's guy, wasn't
he was kind of Solo's guy, but he was. They never committed to saying it was Smooth Productions. But me and K-Dog had wrote rhymes in jail. And wrote rhymes. He was there early on, and he could freestyle real good. But I was like, you need to write. And he came out of jail with like a stack full of rhymes. He's like, you're right. You know what I mean? Like he read a thesaurus or something. You know what I mean? Like he really put it on. So we started doing. The guy heard our music, and we started doing shows in Aspen. He was like, hey, I'll get you a hotel and give us a bar tab. And I invited you guys. I invited Cavi and them, which were what were they called? They were Cavi and them were I don't remember what are they even called. It was Ray and Jason and
I don't remember.
Ian J. And they were called. I can't even think of their names at the time, and they'll be mad at me later because they were my friends. But you know, I would invite them, and I invite Dizzy and I invited them to Aspen, and we would do shows in Aspen. And it was cool because like I kind of like set it up, but it wasn't like so much of that. I was trying to like show the love. Let's go do this little summer get down. Let's go do this winter showdown. Whatever, we'd make up a name for it, pop a flyer out there, and we'd go. And it was awesome. You know, we were in Aspen, Colorado, and at the time, Little Flip opened up across the street at the big ass venue that
Belly Up.
The Belly Up. So you remember?
Yeah.
Belly Up. Were you there when Rasheed was there?
Mm-mm.
See, you were there. It was like the time you guys went. The very next time we did one.
We went with it was the Coffee Brothers.
The Coffee Brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Devin the Dude wasn't there.
Okay, that's who it was.
Coffee
It wasn't Little Flip. It was Devin the Dude or something like that something like that. So Rasheed happened to be there. He walked into the venue, and we didn't even know who he was, bro. He had a Motley Crue shirt on, of all things, and he was come up to us and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if we spit? That was dope. Do you mind if we spit on the mic?" And we're like, "Yeah, you got a CD?" And he's like, had it, and like I started looking at him, and I was like, "Bro," tell my little brother, like I put the pool stick down, I'm like, "Do you know who that is?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "That's the Wet Black, bro. That's Rasheed." He's like, from Dope House Records, SPM, Carolyn Marcus. Like, no way. Like, that's Rasheed. Like, are you serious? We went up and started talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I am." And like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, there's still pictures on the Smooth Productions page. Like, this is Rasheed in Aspen, Colorado. Like, of all things, like, what the fuck? Cool. The craziest thing in the world. Like, so we were like, "Hey, we want to book you for a Halloween show." This was before Haystack. Like, I jumped ahead. Yeah. So we're gonna book you, and it wasn't that bad of a deal. So I was like, "Hey, right then and there, I'll give you the down payment, $250 down, which ain't too much, you know what I mean? But you know whatever it is, pop $250 in his pocket, and with the hopes of he's really gonna show up to a show, and he did. Nice. We booked a Halloween show on a Thursday night. Have you not, at Whiskey River on a Thursday night, 414 people.
Beautiful. With
Rasheed headlining, Kidnap opening, and that's when Kidnap came over. Baby G, Echo, me, Smokey, Chico, boom, and it was called the Halloween Hip Hop Heist. And it went down, and from there we took that money, went right into Haystack, went from Haystack into Baby Bash, and then in the middle of that, Rasheed gave me a call one night, and it was like 11:30 at night, and he said, "Hey, Carolyn Rodriguez is coming through." And like, I didn't even know who that was, right? And for the life of me, I didn't know who it was until I started like, that's the Dope House, that's the Medicine Girl. Like, she sings SPM's hooks. Like, wow, like, are you serious? Like, didn't even know. And it was like 11:30 night. He's like, "They're coming through. Will you buy some merch from them or something like that?" I'm like, "Bet." You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah. So she came to the house. We bought some CDs from her, and she signed some stuff, took some pictures with us. But at the same time, I was like, I want to get you on a hook. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking long term. I paid her for a hook right then, and I still got it in the vault. You know what I mean?
Released it?
I never released it yet. Oh. Yeah, like, it's still waiting for my album. Okay. It's still waiting for my album.
We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, it's still. So, you know, right around that time, like I said, I met Carolyn Rodriguez, and I got a hook from her. That's still in the vault. That's still in the making.
For your album.
For my album. I just opened up for Bubba Sparks in Houston, Texas. Mo Hustle, shout out to Mo Hustle, shout out to Rasheed, shout out to the Medicine Girl. You know what I mean? Everybody that I met in Texas, LBG, I'm gonna be working with them. I do some stuff with them, but Carolyn Rodriguez is a real good friend of mine still, and she tours. She has a tour bus, and she like pops up at Walmart's and sells merch and does pop-up shows and stuff like that, and then tours all around everywhere. Right. And she's still a real good friend of mine. Some of the people that I met in the industry and have songs with, and like we have a song with Haystack. Kidnap and Smokey have a song with Haystack, and we have a song with Rasheed. You know what I mean? And we've met him in the industry.
I've heard the Rasheed one.
Yeah. I think Midnight Mistress.
Gotti. I heard the Gotti one.
Gotti one, yeah. It was The Last Laugh.
Juan Gotti?
With Juan Gotti, yeah. We met him, yeah. Juan Gotti. The Last Laugh. Midnight Mistress is featuring Rasheed. Smokey Dro, Echo, Baby G. And I never had nothing with them. Like, it's weird because like I was promoting my other artists, but I wasn't promoting myself. Right. Like, I was doing songs, but like even like the mixtape, the Guilty by Association mixtape. You guys were on one of them too, right? The first one, the Guilty by Association mixtape. I was only on one song. You know what I mean? Then Guilty by Association 2, Echo was on like 5 songs. Like, I was pushing my other artists, but I never had a lot of time to drop my own. I've never dropped my own album to this day.
Right.
Ever.
Well, I think being a leader of a label like that and a group like that, you really got to put yourself not first.
It was what it was. I know, and
Yeah.
and like it feels like now really like I'm gonna put myself first. Like they're all doing their own thing. They've all came through it. They've all done music things. Right. Baby G went and did songs with Brother Lynchung.
Wow.
Really did songs with Brother Lynchung in California. Like in Sacramento, he was doing music with Greedy World. You know what I mean? And he jumped from our label and went out there and did that. You know what I mean? And like, it is what it is. People use that as a jump off. You know what I mean? And that's neither here nor there. Like, I ain't mad at them. I got nothing but love for anybody, for all my artists.
So what happened? You guys were at your kind of pinnacle around 13 or 14. When things started to kind of fall apart, what was the spark of that?
I think like a rock star type of life, bro. Like you were saying, like people, you know what I mean? The drugs, the women, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like that, but it really is. Like it's like a dark road. You went down that way, and like at the same time when we were managing, doing music sales and stuff like that too, we were still trying to stay in the streets and manage drug sales. You know what I mean? Like I'm an ex-drug dealer, so it would be no big deal to sell tickets along with other stuff. And you know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. Like I don't condone any of that anymore. But I don't lie about where I came from. Right. You know what I mean? I don't ever lie about where I came from. The indictment hit in 2014. Okay. And I was doing a COMCORE sentence at the time, but my little brother and everybody was still on the streets. My brother got named. The girl I was with at the time got named, and kidnapped got named.
Was that a result of an informant, or what?
It was a result of an informant, and they said that we were laundering money for a motorcycle gang and a known prison gang. You know what I mean? And so we won't say which ones. You know what I mean? Right. But they said that they were managing drug sales for them, and they said they were laundering it through Smooth Productions, which wasn't the case. Like, if so, we'd have some money. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have no money. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, we were like barely making it. People were still living paycheck to paycheck. I remember after a show, we had just done Baby Bash. And none of us had no money. Right. Barely broke even. No lie. Barely broke even. Had enough money to pay him over 6 racks. You know what I mean? It's like $6,500. You know what I mean? Not to be exact, but you know how it is running a show and having to get to hotels, everything like that. Barely breaking even, and my homies all coming to my house the next day, and I was like breaking out the weed man's money, giving everybody $20 because nobody had no money for cigarettes. Right. No, and like, a couple of my homies were sleeping on my couch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, do the dishes at least. You know what I mean? Like, like, come on. Like, here's $20. Go get some cigarettes, and will you do the dishes? You know what I mean? Like, it was like really like we were living it, but a lot of it, like I said, like we were so happy to be in the limelight doing the music, getting all these followers and all this stuff that, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't take in the thing, and at the same time we were managing our own demons, our own addictions. You know what I mean? Like, and I started getting back into meth real bad. I had been sober for a couple years, straight up sober. I was smoking a lot of weed and drinking, so I wasn't completely sober. But I started getting high on company time. I was high at shows. I did Amanda Perez. I'd been up for 4 days. No lie. I tried to sleep the night before. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still winding down about 11 o'clock show. Yeah. I just stayed up. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was no lie, and I'm here to tell you that I don't condone any of it. Like, I've only been clean and sober 6 months right now, but I was clean and sober for 11 months before that. I mean, you fall, but don't forget to get back up. Yeah. You know, like, I'll never quit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I go to work every day. I do exactly what I have to. If I lose a job, I go get another job. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, everywhere's hiring at this point. If you don't work, it's because you don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel anymore. I don't condone any of it because, like I said about, like, drugs and fake enlightenment, fake money and fast money, the reason why no drug dealer has any of it left at the end of it is because it's not real. It doesn't mean anything. It didn't come. It's not really, even if it's in your bank account, it's false. It's not there because you didn't earn it. You didn't earn it with your blood, sweat, and tears. You didn't earn it by the scum on your hand. I still got paint from my hand from earlier. You know what I mean? Like working for a painter right now. Not making that much, but making enough to manage to get by, and I'm happy. You know what I mean? And that feels so much better than going and hustling out in the streets.
That dirty money. That
dirty money.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize it. You know what I mean? And when you watch at the end of Scarface, he had everything, and he's there sitting alone. And all his homies come to kill him. You know what I mean? Because you want to watch your back forever, or you just want to worry about getting a text from your boss saying, hey, you need to be there at 7:30. Because we're going to be working up in Fruta, and it's going to be cold, so maybe we can't start till 9. That's way more better than, man, I think this dude's looking for you because so-and-so and so-and-so and what. You know what I mean? And that's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I love the streets. The streets are what made me. You know what I mean? But I got love from over here. You guys stay over there.
Right. How did you get caught up in an indictment? Was it just
I never got caught in an indictment. My brother and them. I was locked up. The cops came to try to question me at Comcorp. Even put me on a 48-hour hold, like a Colorado Bureau of Investigation hold. You can't leave anywhere. You can't use the phone. You can't do anything for 48 hours because they thought that I had something to do with it. And I'm like, what do I have anything to do with it? I've been in prison. I've been locked up.
Was it a transaction that
it
somebody
was,
got handed up on?
It was a transaction, text messages that got hit down, and there was thousands of text messages back and forth, and that's what ended up happening, and that's where stuff kind of went downhill, and we kind of lost sight of the music and lost sight of that.
So it was like the real blow to Smooth, and I don't want to talk too much about your brother because he's not here, but was it his when he went down? Did that kind of like deflate what was happening? Or?
Well, it kind of, think about it. It gave the impression that we were drug dealers, that we were, you know what I mean, that we were gang members and stuff like that, which, you know what I mean, a lot of it wasn't a lie. I'm not saying it wasn't. I don't condone any of that, you know what I mean? Like, I roll with gangs. I never gang banged, but I had my own little crew when I was growing up, you know what I mean? And I thought it was okay to sell weed and sell drugs, so, you know, any of that, but all that led to that. And then the fact that led to that, like, that we really were doing what we said in rhymes. But at the same time, it gave love to it. 97 Ounces was one of the baddest CDs of all times to ever come out the Valley. And he was literally, like, talking shit about cops and talking shit about task force. Like, I don't get me wrong, like, that's cool and everything. NWA fuck the police and all that stuff like that too, because they're on their side, they're on their side. That's their job and that's our job. You know what I mean? I get that, but you know what I mean? Like, not to even talk shit about my own homeboys. I love that. I love that album. I still bump it to this day. It's one of the baddest albums ever made out the Valley, but the message. Think about it. You know what I mean?
Do you think that put a target on you?
I think so. You know what I mean? I believe so. You know what I mean? Because every little stupid thing they try to hit them for. You know what I mean? Like, even to this day, like, they be watching us. They're watching us for what? And I don't do anything anymore. I work, go home, because I don't get to give them a reason. I'm not going to give anybody a reason because I don't sell drugs. I don't do anything. I don't do anything because I work a legit job. And if anybody else is, that's none of my business. But I wish everybody would just be legit. My little brother runs a gambling thing, and it's a legit gambling stuff. He runs fish tables, and he does his gambling thing, and he still does music when he can. But I think a lot of people lost sight of what we were trying to do.
Were you feeling like it was hot? Was there a time where like you knew it was hot, or did it just hit you like that?
The cops?
Yeah. Like,
well, I was in Comcorp. I was in Comcorp at the time, and they wouldn't let me go to like certain. They wouldn't let me go to certain addresses, and they were like, "No, that address is red flagged." I'm like, "That's my mom's house." You know what I mean? Like, why is that one red flagged? You know what I mean? You can't go there on that one.
Been watching you guys.
Hell yeah, you knew right then. Like, when an address is red flagged or something like that, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, I remember my little brother. They had surrounded his house, and he was like, they're out there, and I'm like, man, call mom right now and tell her to come get the baby, come get your daughter, because they're not coming. They're not out there that deep they're not going to come question you.
And they're not going to leave.
They're not leaving. You're going to jail. Mm-hmm. Trust and believe. They had put warrants out for arrest. They had already hit my lady. She was walking to my work, and I was working up in Orchard Mesa, and she lived in Orchard Mesa. She was walking to my work, and they got her. And the kids came to my work and were like, they just got my mom, her kids. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, really? Are you serious? The cop even pulled up. Plainclothes cop. And I'm like, oh, so you're the task force, huh? And like, he's like, yeah, did you have any questions or anything? I'm like, did you take my lady? He's like, yeah, she's under arrest. And we're looking for your brother and we're looking for your friend. And I was like, I don't even know who you're talking about. You know who your brother is, da da da. Started talking and I said, hey, I got nothing to say to you. I'm at work right now. Bam. You know what I mean? And it was right then you knew that they meant business.
So when your brother got hemmed up, did they lock him up until they because he went to the joint for a while, right?
He got 4 years, yeah. He got prison, yeah.
He never came home after that?
He did. He's home now, but he came home after that. He hasn't been back since.
No, I'm saying between his arrest and between his prison sentence,
there were like $10,000 cash only bonds or something, or 50,000 cash only bonds. They were huge high bonds that nobody could handle.
And that was in 2015,
15, yeah.
So, how did that impact Smooth at that point?
It was devastating. It was devastating blow, bro. Like devastating. Like it was, man. It was tragic, bro. It was tragic because then like I said, like I was still in Concord, and I made it like my mission to try to get everybody sober.
Right. How long were you in Concord
it was the tail end of a prison sentence that was 6 years. So it was a 3-year prison sentence, I think. Not that time. I had 6 before, but it was a 3-year prison sentence. So after 15 months, I ended up in Comcor. After you could put in for Comcor. So I had to do about 11 months in Comcor.
So you were in Comcor. Your brother was out running Smooth.
Yeah.
And then he went in. You were out at that time.
I got out. I was out doing passes and stuff, and I went and was making merch. Started recording music still right there. Come on, guys. Yeah. I was making music, recording, and like I said, like I picked up the pieces, went and got the microphone, went and put it at my lady's house, and my lady got out on like a 30,000 cash surety bond. It wasn't as big as like my other one, so she ended up bonded out. Mm-hmm. So, and I ended up getting oh man, that's an Aaron calling right now. What's up?
What up?
I'm doing this interview right now.
What interview?
I don't know, I can't even be on the phone, I'm on camera.
That's your brother.
What interview is it?
It's with Ben. There, you're on speakerphone right now.
What up, man?
What up?
Nada, just running the business.
I like it, man. I like it. I heard you're doing your thing.
I am doing my thing.
I like it, man. We'll talk about it, okay?
Absolutely.
Alright.
Alright.
Let me know.
Alright, doggy.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he was, yeah, alright. But like I said, like I picked up the pieces and I went and was recording music, and I got like everybody that was kind of, you know, they didn't know where they were going to be at because my little brother's houses got raided. There was 2 different apartments that got raided at the time, so I went and put everybody at my girlfriend's house up in Orchard Mesa, put the studio in the room, and I'm going to get to the music. Let's get back to the music.
And at this point, you have Echo,
Chico,
and
Baby
me.
G. No, Baby G's gone.
Already
California. Yep.
Okay.
Gone during that time. Yeah.
Right.
In the middle of that, he went to California during that time. Yeah. And so we dropped Guilty by Association 2, and it was called Musical Rehab. Okay. That was the whole sense of it too. Was like, bro, I know everybody's dealing with this, but if you're gonna be on this label, if you're gonna do this, you're not gonna be doing this shit. I don't care if you smoke weed, all the weed you want. Weed's from the earth. You know what I mean? Like. Weeds from the earth, you know what I mean? It's wonderful. I just can't handle it. You know what I mean? Some people can, I can't. You know what I mean? You can smoke all the weed you want, no chemicals, no powders, chill. All you can give you a spot to kick it at. We can make merch. I'm gonna be on pass. I need you to help keep the house clean. Start doing it. Start sobering up. Start looking for a job. Like I literally got like everybody sober again. And when I got out, we started doing shows again. I think we brought Zigzag. Mm-hmm. We brought Zigzag from MB Riders. We brought him. We did Carolyn Rodriguez again. 2016. Mm-hmm. 2016, 17. And then right about then, I fell off again, bro. Like I first started drinking. I got off parole. I started drinking. The same day I started drinking, I started using meth again. You know what I mean? That's why I don't drink. You know what I mean? Like I can't. You know what I mean? I understand. I know in my heart of hearts like what it does to me.
Right. It just
like,
makes you make
right? And that's like it with anything. If you can handle nothing in excess, somebody preaches. You know what I mean? Nothing in excess. Sugar, pop, anything, nothing in excess.
Right.
But I can't handle anything like that. Like if I drink alcohol, I will do lines. If I do a line, I want a pistol and a pound of meth. That's not a lie. Like right. I really think it's okay, and I won't condone it anymore. And I don't like that darkness in me. So I don't do it. So that's what it was. Like I proceeded to get people sober, and then proceeded to give them drugs back. You know, it was the worst. You know what I mean? The worst feeling to be like the big homie, the person that was pushing them to change and do better, and then the person was like, "Here, let's just play with it a little bit more. It's okay to be this." Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I guess that's like even like what changed me to where like I'm ironclad, like I'm tough love. Like if you won't help yourself, I can't help you. I mean, because I had to help myself from nothing. I got out a year ago with a bag of clothes. I promise you. A year ago. In December 21st, I got out into the sober living house. Amos Sober Living House. It saved my life pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, I got out, I wrote them, and I had caught a case on parole. At the tail end of my parole, I caught a stupid ass F5. And I got into sober living, and I started working. Sobered up, started working, did so good, and was clean and sober. Like I said, that was like a year ago. I was clean and sober I've been sober for 6 months, so I was only clean and sober for about 6 months, and I fucked up for 3 days. About 6 months ago, I fucked up for 3 days, but I caught myself again. Like, I'll never stop, but like I'm doing good. Like, I'm not gonna say I won't mess up, but I don't want to. Like, my lady now, she doesn't use. She's been clean and sober for 5 years. You know what I mean? We all came from the same game, from the same place. You know what I mean? And meth's a real big epidemic here. You know.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows. You know, fentanyl. People are dying like crazy, man. Like, you don't know what's in it. You know, people are dying like crazy. Like, it just makes no sense to me. And like the fake enlightenment is what I don't agree with. You know what I mean? You're on top of the world while you're walking down the street with the backpack. You know what I mean? Like I said, like I got out with a backpack with the same backpack full of clothes that my mom had of mine, and I went into sober living house, and it saved me. It saved everything I have, and realized that if I continue to use drugs, if I continue to go down this road, like I'll never be a dad, I'll never make music, I'll never be anything I wanted to be in life. You know what I mean? Like I've never put out my album because I never go long enough with the stretch long enough to get the songs done.
Right.
I can't stop getting locked up. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, let's talk about what's next, man. What's next for you? So I know you're working on that album.
I'm working on the album now. I have 3 tracks. I have 2 done. 2 in the making right now. They're both in the studio getting mixed down right now. One of them's completely done. Only Me. It's on YouTube. It's under Smooth Productions, Street Royalty. Okay. Street Royalty is my new label that I'm branching off with right now. It's Street Royalty Entertainment. Okay. It's my personal label. Street Royalty is going to be a clothing line too. All right. Street Royalty clothing line. Smooth Productions is always going to be Smooth Productions. You know what I mean? Street Royalty, Smooth Productions Entertainment.
So if we want to find that on YouTube or
YouTube, it's under
Smooth Productions 970. I know Smooth.
Yeah, Smooth Productions 970. That YouTube channel is one that like we hardly got away with because the emails got messed up and stuff like that. So if you look up Hectik Only Me, just like it says Only Me, and it's Smooth Productions Street Royalty / Street Royalty, and it's Only Me, and it's my first song off the album.
All right.
And that's Only Me, and the album is Resurrection Regardless.
Cool. All right.
And that's going to be the album, and I'm hoping to. I was hoping by Christmas, but that's like a month and a half away. So, like, at least 4 or 5 of the songs will be done by Christmas.
Who's producing for you?
I'm Louis Lux producing some stuff for me. Okay. I'm getting my own studio back now. Like, I'm getting my own stuff back now, It's just building up. You know what I mean?
Starting
All the
over
stuff
again,
that I
yeah.
had, we lost it all. Like, you know, completely starting over. You know what I mean? Has humbled me to the point where I'm really starting to get stuff. I'm getting money saved up. Like, I'm gonna buy the Mac. Like, a buddy of mine's got like a 2015 Mac, but you know, it has everything you need. The GarageBand is such good to record on. You know what I mean? I already have a preamp, so all I need is a mic.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm buying the Mac. Boom. Like, it's piecing everything together. You know what I mean? Like, we had everything, and we lost everything. Like, I lost everything because of my choices.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So, we can hit you up on YouTube. I'll put the links. And
Yeah.
I'll put the words on the screen so they can check that out.
Yeah.
And you're working on your album, and the name of the album is going to be one more time.
Resurrection Regardless.
Resurrection Regardless.
Yeah.
All right, Hectik, cool, man. Shit, that's some heavy stuff, man. That's a big story. I hope some people out there can listen to that and hear that and be like, yo, that's
I appreciate
the
it.
place to learn from right there. Cool, man. So we're gonna end this interview with just we're gonna do some hot takes. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, a series of questions.
Okay.
You just tell me like what's off the top of your head. It's kind of like to end the interview on a light note.
Yes.
And just so that some people out there get to know just a little bit more about you. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, man. So tell people at home, what is Hectik's favorite food?
Wow, that's a rough one, huh? That's a rough one. I like fajitas. I like fajitas. I don't know. Fajitas. Shrimp fajitas.
Ooh.
Chicken, steak, but fajitas in general. Yeah.
You make your own fajitas?
Always.
There you go.
I'm a cook too, yeah.
You are a cook, right?
12 years cooking, yeah.
12 years cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what's up about. You know what's
Yeah,
up.
love food, yeah. As you can tell.
It's good for you.
290, yeah.
290, that's a big boy,
Pushing,
man.
yeah.
All right, phobias. You have any phobias?
I'm scared of the dark. I have to sleep with the light on.
A little light or big light?
I like to have a big light, but if it's my lady, she only lets me have like the little runner LCD lights. and then she fights me to like turn them off, so every other day they go off. And then, so, you know what I mean? And if they're like the lights on my altar, they need to stay on all the time. You know what I mean? Like my sacred place. But I will put it down and turn them off for her because I love her. You know, I genuinely love her, and she's really a good person, and she's helped me with this. You know what I mean? And she believes in me.
Yeah.
And that's important. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you only need one person to believe in you, but more importantly than that one person, you need to believe in yourself.
That's true.
You need to believe in yourself.
All right, man. So I know I don't have to probably ask this one, but what type of guy are you? A dog or cat guy?
Cat.
You're a cat guy.
Yeah.
Well,
These are my lady's dogs.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but this one adopted me. Leia adopted me. But it's weird. I'm both, but I prefer cats over dogs. I don't know. I have no clue. Cats are sacred, bro. Cats are sacred, bro. They see stuff that we don't. But so do dogs.
Yeah.
But all those people. She's like a cat dog. Yeah. But she like I prefer cats. I think I prefer cats. But I love to have a good dog. But I like a dog that will really go prowl the yard and like really guard you. You know what I mean? Like our dog will just laugh at everybody that walks in, and he's friendly with everybody. Like I want a dog that's kind of on edge. So Leia's kind of on edge. She's kind of on edge. Or if you look at cats, like they never really sleep. They're really always coherent about everything that's going on. The most aware animals in the world.
I'm a cat person too. I like
yes.
I'm a cat guy.
Yeah.
All right, man. If you could collab with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive, music-wise. Dead or alive? Oh wow, that's the craziest question in the world. Dead or alive? Only one?
Yeah.
Only one? You only had one choice, huh? I would have to be able to collab with Tupac, bro. You know what I mean? Like, period, bro. Like, period. Like, it would have to either, but it would be like, I'd have to have him get me on the track, or I'd give him like a real thug, gritty ass hook from him. Let me get that hook that's just 4 bars, like Hail Mary hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me get behind that Hail Mary hook. Let me get it, and you spit it, and I'll do the verse and shit, and then get me, Smokey, and Kidnap on the track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Pac on the hook. You know what I mean? That'd be sick.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. All right, man. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I would change some of the choices I made. You know what I mean? Like some of the fact that I chose drugs over my kids, chose drugs over myself. I mean the fact that drugs made it so I didn't love myself more than anything, because that's the crucialest part, bro. You can't love anything or anyone until you truly love yourself.
Yeah, that's deep, man.
It's the truest thing ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There isn't like it. You know, it comes down to anything. You gotta love yourself, bro. And I guess I didn't ever even start loving myself until lately. You know, this last year. I thought I did, but I didn't, bro, because I chose something else over my self-preservation. Yeah. And your self-preservation is everything. You know what I mean? Like, you come down to that, like, self-preservation is everything, and self-love and self-health, and, you know, that's just what it comes down to. So if I could change anything, I would change the fact that I didn't love myself before.
That's real. That's real. All right, big bro. Last one. If you have one piece of advice for the next generation of rappers, a young kid, say he's 10, 11 years old, passionate about rap music, if you give him some advice, what would that be?
To put everything you have into the track and go for quality, not quantity, and put more meaning in a track. Put more meaning in it, because your kids' kids may hear that someday, and they'll look up your underground stuff too. So every single track, put a piece of your heart in there, and make sure you're not lying on a track. Music, this rap shit, this music shit is easy. Just don't lie on a track. Don't rap or sing about something that you didn't do. If you didn't do it, if you don't mean it from your heart, if you didn't live it, don't put it on there.
That's real, big bro. Hey, Hectik, man. Thanks for sitting with me, big bro.
Thank you, bro.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah.
We'll stay in touch with you. I'll put the links so people will see what's going down. They'll check out the new album coming up. Keep your head up, man. Stay strong. It's good talking with you, bro.
All right.
Signing out.
Yes.